Hello everybody! Today I worked again with my dad on the right tank assembly. And with tank assembly I mean messing with sealant. Alright, we start with degreasing. I prepared it already yesterday. And next thing what we're going to do is create the sealant, the ProSeal sealant. First I start with the white gooey stuff, which is the main component. You need about 90% of it should be the white goo, and I use a scale to see how much is in there, and then we take the black hardening component. You only need it's 1/10, so, and then start mixing it. So my dad does all the mixing and I start preparing the squeezer and the rivet gun. Again, we use the dispenser, the kit dispenser, which I really like. That's really great to work with. It's very comfortable. Okay, we start with putting the sealant, the ProSeal, on the ribs, both the bottom and the top side, and I cleco them to the bottom side. That is not the preferred way to do it according to Vance, but actually I like this way better. Else they say you should put the skin in the cradle and then squeeze it in there. But I'm afraid that it would kind of push the sealant out of the dimples. So I do it the other way around. So once it's clecoed, then we push it into the cradle, and because at that point in time there is no, you don't shift the ribs, there is no problem. Okay, we're going to cleco the top side, and then we start filling all the dimples, all the skin dimples, rib by rib, with sealant and putting the rivets in there. And then we start riveting with the buckling bar and the rivet gun. So I use the buckling bar. I'm standing on top of the table because that works very well. And my dad uses the rivet gun. It really works very well this way. We also did it with the previous tank. So that was really good. Right. Actually, sitting on your knees is nice, but it's really hurting the knees, so I shouldn't do that. So you will see that I won't do it the next time because it really hurts my knees. Okay, we start riveting the bottom side. All the rivets in there. Sometimes we get the clecos out, and then we put also the sealant in those holes. And we do all the inner ribs, so the outboard and the most outboard and the most inboard rib are not done this way because they need different way to get riveted, and we can use the squeezer for that. Also, they should really be sealed very well. I mean, all these internal ribs, it might actually leak through from one part to the other part, right? That wouldn't be really a problem. There are holes in there anyway, so of course they shouldn't leak through the rivets, but on all the other places it might actually leak. That's not a problem. So now we're going to the top side. Again, all the rivets from all the ribs. And after this we can start with the most outboard, most rib. We did something stupid, by the way. We'll see that later. I forgot to insert the vent line when I had all the ribs in there, even the inboard one. And then we were a little lucky that there was still one hole where the fuel pickup line should go in there, and so we could still squeeze it in. But that was actually quite stupid. Okay. Yeah, with this time lapse it looks that the riveting goes very fast. Actually, it took a long time. I think we riveted for about I think 1 hour on every side. So that's already we're already 2 hours into the work here at this point. So yeah, the time lapse. It looks very fast, but actually it's not. and you have to hurry because the tank sealant is can only work for a few hours, right? It says 90 minutes. I'm glad it's a lot more than that. And yeah, it was really nice October day today. It was really warm, and that was yeah, a lot of fun. Okay, last rib, internal rib, and then we can start with the outside ribs. Here we're preparing one, that is the most outboard rib, and we're preparing that because, yeah, unfortunately we again do it on the wrong side of the table, but it's actually where the most place is, and also the sun was very hot on at the door, so we need a special doubler plate in there, which prevents leaking, and we use an excessive amount of yeah, here we're doing that. So we're using extra sealant on the skin, and we also use extra sealant on the side. You can see that there. I took over because my dad had actually pain in his hand from all the squeezing, because if you're squeezing for hours, that actually hurts. Here you can see that. Yeah. So now we can again insert all the rivets and then use the squeezer, which gives a really nice effect again. I mean, I really like the squeezer much better than the bucking bar and the rivet gun, but hey, sometimes you cannot get there, so okay, yes. This side is actually quite easy. So this is the most outboard side of the tank. And the reason that it's easy, that there is no attachment angle. You will see later on the inboard rib there is an attachment angle, and that is really crappy because you have hardly any room for doing all the riveting. So that's hard. Okay, last few rivets where they were in the place where the clicos are. And now we're preparing the other side. So now we're preparing the inboard rib part. And that is even a little more difficult because there's not only a plate doubler, but there's also a tank attach angle that needs to be riveted, and that's actually the one that is causing a lot of problems when you want to rivet the rib to the skin. You will see that later. Let's say the bottom 5-6 rivets are really hard to do. See how easy it is with the kit dispenser, right? It's really good, because else you have to do it with a popsicle stick or something like that. That's really hard. Okay, inserting. Yeah, this actually looks if it's very easy, but it's not. Okay, business as usual, but you will see at the bottom side there is this attach angle. I dropped all the rivets on the ground. Really smart. I put them in because I cleaned them up, and then I put them into a piece of cloth, and then I grabbed a piece of cloth. So that was really stupid. Okay, continue. Rivets in there and start squeezing again. Again, the topmost, there is no problem. The problem starts with the bottom ones, and that's really terrible. You will see that the bottom rivets are really hard to do, or actually in the leading edge, right? I mean, it's in the bottom from the picture, but it's actually the most leading edge part. You'll see that here. First of all, the 2 rivets cannot really go in there, so I needed to use a drill because they are really close to this tank attach angle, and you can see I cannot reach it. So what we did is I used the bucking bar, and most of them I can use the bucking bar and the rivet gun. Yeah, here's the rivets where the clicos were. So here we use the rivet gun and the bucking bar, and you can, because the bucking bar, we have this titanium bucking bar with the angle in there, so that is almost possible to do all of them except for 1 or 2, and we use I use a special piece of metal for that. Now we're going to attach the the flange that holds the fuel pickup line and the fuel sender. Again, we need some work on that part. Unfortunately, I do it again on the other side. Yeah, sorry for that. We don't really take into account that we're actually filming this, so that's stupid. Okay. The fuel pickup line has a special bracket in there which prevents the bulkhead nut to turn, which is a good thing, because else it would go wrong if it would start turning. Oh yeah, here we found out what I said earlier, right? That I forgot the vent line, but fortunately we could put it through the hole. That was actually nice, although stupid. Okay, now we have to... I was thinking either using the cork or doing it with sealant. With the previous one I used the sealant. Now I decided to use the cork. We'll see what happens. The leak test, we'll see if that works. So, closing it up. And the last part is the fuel sender. Actually, the fuel sender comes with a really nice gasket, but according to Vance, you should not use the gasket, and it's in capitals, so yeah, I'd rather stick to that. So I didn't use the gasket, I used sealant. Looks okay. Okay, rest is now cleaning up, so we use acetone for that. It is really terrible stuff. You can see the big container in the back. But it really works very well to clean stuff up with acetone. I mean, all the stuff, all the tools are really messy with all the sealant. But if you use the acetone, that really works great. Yeah, that's it. Cleaning up. Have to set for a few days, and probably Wednesday I can start with doing a leak test and see if everything is okay. Next time, continuing with building my pie in the sky.